sanitation, hygiene, good lifestyle, nutrition, safe water, etc. Although it is only immunization and safe water that have really been worked on, it has improved the average life expectancy from 43 years to 68 years. However, there is the problem of curative that is still outstanding. That problem is tied up with the problem of tafayo, not bothering with the important things. It is tied up with the issue of corruption. I happen to have been here in the times of the British, the time of independence, and after. In all that time, I saw the corruption of the public servants. That is the chiefs, the veterinary personnel, the medical personnel, the school teachers, etc. When we were in the bush, I told the NRM leadership that we could not trust the public servants to serve our people honestly. I therefore proposed that we add our own structures elected by the people to supervise the interests of the people. You have that power to elect the LC1s, LC2s, LC3s, LC5s, members of parliament, councillors, etc. These are the ones to report corruption and other misconduct in the area, especially the ones being paid by the state. Those are the LC3 chairperson, the member of parliament, and the LC5 chairperson and other officials. What has happened is corruption, land grabbing, etc., happening in Congo or Uganda. If it is happening in a locality in Uganda, where there is a galaxy of all those elected and paid leaders, why do they not expose the problem? Yes, the government has another galaxy of actors, accountants, auditors, etc. We shall continue trying to bring them to Jesus Christ and Muhammad for salvation, to save them from corruption, and also axe the incorrigible ones. However, when my strategy of the LC system works, it will be a game changer. Recently, near Mpigi town, I engaged some Bazukuru there that were talking about corruption. I told them to elect serious leaders, serious people that guard their interests, the interests of the people. That was why the LC system was designed. Finally, on the issue of political competition and law and order, politics is not about the livelihood of leaders. Solve the problem of jobs for some people. It is about the destiny of peoples. That destiny is guided by principles that arise from the analysis and the determination of how the respective societies can be safe and prosperous. In the case of Uganda, in the 1960s, our student movement disagreed with the sectarian politics of that time of religion and tribe. We eventually distilled our principles of love, Uganda, patriotism. Why? It is because you need it for your prosperity. If you are a wealth creator and not a parasite, you need Uganda as a market for your products. Banyankole do not buy my milk. They do not buy my beef or buy my bananas because they are producing similar products. It is the people of Kampala that buy my products. I also buy the products from other parts of Uganda. Sugar from Busoga, Buganda and Bunyoro, vegetable oil from Karangara, textiles from Buganda, etc. The second principle is that we should love Africa, Pan-Africanism. Why? It is because the internal market of Uganda is not enough. However, we cannot benefit from these two markets unless we undergo socio-economic transformation by migrating from Okorre Chida Chonka to working for Echida, the stomach, and Ensawo, the pocket, with Echibaro, Chura, Aymar, Otita, the calculation for profit. Then the fourth principle is democracy. It is people that believe in these principles, which is the only way to prosperity, that I associate with politically. It is unprincipled for one to fight somebody that fights these principles. Instead, you should discuss among those who believe in these principles to determine who should represent us here or there according to the suitability. The moment you see political positions as a means of living, you then become a problem for your country. Since 1971, we left well-paying jobs to fight Idi Amin. Why? It is because we were sure that he would block our vision of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Previously, we had been massaging Obote because there was a possibility that he could move with us on Pan-Africanism, for example, the East African Federation. Therefore, the political actors should stop the pseudo-politics of me, because it is not only barren, but very destructive for countries. On the issue of law and order, you have been seeing the indiscipline and anarchic conduct of some of the opposition, guided by the wrong politics in their heads and prompted by parasitic foreigners that back them. They make many mistakes. These include transporting audiences to create the image of big crowds at the venues. Those arrested following Mr. Kyagulanyi at Mile 4 in Mbarara confessed that they had a fleet of possibly 200 vehicles transporting those nomadic audiences. You then have the Kyagulanyi schemes of causing chaos in the country on behalf of the foreigners that fund them and back them. Mr. Kyagulanyi and his evil foreigners that back him fail to understand that Uganda is a land of spiritual and political matters. The spiritual matters like Karol Rwanga, etc., the political matters like Rutamaguzi are very good examples for the present generations. Many Ugandans, especially those that have been with the opposition, get flabbergasted by those schemes and link up with us and peacefully dissolve those schemes. Do you remember Taja Kulaira? Do you remember Gen Z plan for the 4th of July, 2024, for the riots like those of Kenya, etc.? Do you remember those? They were rejected by the people. Have you noticed the number of NUP flag bearers for parliament that are pulling out? The criminal opposition must also stop intimidating Ugandans. You have no right to intimidate a Ugandan. Therefore, Ugandans, come out and vote. Nobody would intimidate you or endanger your security. Anybody who tries will have himself to blame and will end up badly. The future of Uganda is bright, Our first oil will come out next year. Regarding the police methods, I reject the practice of caning lawbreakers. Some police forces in the world do it using batons. I, however, reject it. It must stop. Teachers and parents used to cane us, but it was a wrong method. However, using tear gas for rioters is both legal and non-lethal. Doesn't kill. It is much better than using live bullets. However, the police should be more methodical if they are to use tear gas or water cannons or other non-lethal techniques by, for instance, requesting in time the bystanders to move away before using tear gas and other anti-riot non-lethal methods against the rioters. The police should use loudspeakers to warn people and give people time to pull away. I have been busy campaigning and have not been following the antics of the opposition actors. I have, however, heard that the mobile audiences of Mr. Kyagulanyi have been looting people in some cases. I last heard of the attacks on people I talked to myself in Abim, Karamoja. These ones I talked to myself, who were attacked by the gangs of Mr. Kyagulanyi. Uganda is secure. Go out and vote. Uganda and NRM are unstoppable. Happy 2026 and beyond. Thank you.